This video is sponsored by OneFootball. OneFootball's app makes it easy to keep up to date with transfer news, scores and stats all in the one place. To download the OneFootball app, click the link in the description. The app is free. To watch more of this video, get over and join us on Patreon. We're going to talk about the under-23s. I know me and Ped have done this at various times with different points about it, but I want to talk to you about it because I want to get your idea of what our 23 should be, your input on, I suppose, how we can do it better or what we should be doing. So, obviously, our under-23 side has just won the second PL2, the second time in 3 years, which is fantastic. Good for the club. They've done a double, didn't they? Of course. Premier League Cup as well, which is great. However, from the last team that won PL2, we've only had Tom Davis, who'd only played half the season anyway, and was in the first team. John Joe Kenny has played every now and again. Dominic Calvert-Lewin started that campaign and played about 6 games, then didn't play again. So really, we've only really had John Joe out of that. I know Benny played a few games, but in general, John Joe Kenny's probably the only one who's come through after Davis and Calvert-Lewin. Since then, we've won it again this year, and I know Ped had gone to watch a couple of the games. I've watched them on live, on YouTube and stuff. I'm trying to pick out who may come through from this team, and it doesn't naturally jump out at you who could get in our squad.
No, it's a struggle,
There's a couple of lads who are potentials, obviously Morgan Feeney, and I think Morgan, if he wouldn't have had the injury last year, would have been further on, I think. Obviously Lewis Gibbs, the kid who from Newcastle, has got a lot of potential. Anthony Gordon has got loads of potential. Jalvajinga, obviously, and Josh Bowler, who looks really good as well. And that's not discrediting any of the other lads. They're just the lads who I think are further on in the thing. And one player, you mentioned it before off camera when we were talking, Fraser Hornby, who has had big injury this year, so he didn't play as much as what he should have done for Unzi. So with that in mind, with our 23s, how should we view, in your opinion, our under-23 side? Because
it's a development side. A lot of people have asked me, because people have seen me, if you've ever seen me on Twitter, I've seen my stare opinions about the under-23s, and I'm very passionate about this. It's a development side. At the end of the day, it is nice that they have that winning mentality, but the sole purpose of the under-23s is to get them lads ready from 17 to probably 19, ready to make the step into senior football, professional football, into probably a loan move. When you look around the leagues and you look at other teams, a lot of players go on loan generally 18, 19, 20. We've got lads in the under-23s now, 22 in Broadhead's case, 21 I think in Morgan Feeney's case, 20 in Dennis Adnair, and in Nathaniel Markello's case. They've never played professional senior men's football. They've always, and I think in trying to develop players, you need to step them up against levels, because otherwise they become too comfortable at levels. So with Dennis Adnair, he's been in England Youth International since very young. He was at Fulham. I'm not too sure if he ever made a Fulham first team appearance, but he was close to getting starting to games with them. Came to us and he's been playing under 23 level football for 4 years between us and Fulham. There needs to be a step up in competition. He needs to play against players and teams who are going to make him think and learn from his mistakes and work things out. And you're just not going to. You're playing against the same players year in year out who are the same as you, making mistakes. You're never going to get better. You look at John Joe Kenny and Tom Davis. Both of them have done okay when they play for the first team, but when that step up's massive from under-23s to the Premier League, and them lads are not being given that. I think I don't know there's no blame. I don't know who does this, but there needs to be a better pathway to the first team for the lads of the under-23s. Even in the under-18s, there needs to be a plan for when they get the under-18s all the way through to the senior team of how to develop them best. I know people don't love loan moves, and you look at Anthony Evans, who didn't have a good time at Blackpool, did play a couple of games, and then you've got Benny, who didn't play one game or half a game for Wigan, and then he got injured and he never made it back into the team. I know people don't like loans, but that's another thing that Everton need to look out. I'll get onto in a minute. Is that you send the players on the right loans to the right managers to the right teams, but they need to play go on loan. If you look at like the England squad, a lot of those lads who came from your good academies went on loan. Trippier went on loan to Burnley when he was 19, or I think it was Burnley, and then he obviously got a move to Burnley off the back of that, and then he obviously went to Tottenham. Harry Kane, I know people go, he never did that well known, but it served the purpose of him getting ready to play against men. So if you're a striker like Harry Kane is and you're playing against 18-year-old defenders in the Premier League too, you know how to handle them, you get used to that level. But if you're playing against 30-year-olds who are strong, rough, and they know how to play a striker, how to defend a striker using the brain, even if it's in like League 1, League 2 or whatever, that makes a player better. It helps, aids their development, and we just don't. I don't think Everton have got that right yet. I don't. That's a major issue.